Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Red Light Sports Ramble. I am Troy Otradovic, as always, joined with Evan Watallison. Evan, you're in the car today, so that's a going to the old school ramble, aren't you? Where are you at, actually?
Yep. I'm on interstate heading towards Milwaukee to stop by the radio station that I intern at. So I got to pick up some equipment for Badger basketball game tomorrow. So, when I first started the ramble with you, I was either driving home from work, driving to the radio station, or driving to class, or driving somewhere. So, kind of like, as you said, going old school.
Going old school this
week. I just need to put you in a parking lot.
Yeah, well, my window of my office actually overlooks a parking lot, so it's close. It's close.
Close enough.
It's like old school. It's like old school week at the Red Light Sports Ramble. So that's.
One of these days when you do it, you're gonna have to have the camera, if you can, out the window, so you can get the scenery out the window like you used to have it.
You know what? I could probably make that work. I very well could probably make that work.
Don't have to do it today, though.
No, not today. It's kind of gloomy out. I'll wait till the summer when the sun's shining. So.
Yeah, there you go.
There's not much
snowy here right now in Wisconsin, so.
Yeah, well, the sun's down. It sucks.
Or snow.
It sucks. We're supposed to get some snow tonight. So, but with that said, Bo, we got a great episode going on tonight. It is the AFC NFC Championship game. We're definitely going to preview Broncos Patriots.
That's happening this weekend?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I just heard that. So I guess we're obligated to talk about Manning and Brady.
Yeah.
And we're obligated to talk about Kaepernick and Wilson. But before we get into that,
I suppose.
Yeah, well, there's no Packers, We are the Red Light.
We have a piece of Packer news.
We do have a piece, but you got to remember, Evan, we are the Sports Ramble. We're not the Red Light Packer Ramble. But we will share some Packer news with those followers that are Packer fans. Pretty big news, actually, Evan, from my standpoint. That came out of Green Bay today. I'll let you take it away with what happened in Green Bay today.
Yep, well, breaking news out of Green Bay. Kevin Greene is stepping down as outside linebackers coach for the Green Bay Packers, citing wanting to spend more time with his family.
And I think I lost you, Evan. Just so you know, you might have hit a dead area. And in the meantime, I'll just take over with that. Kevin Greene stepped down, apparently wanted to take more time with his family, as I read the article. Evan and I were talking on the pre-show that we truly believe that it was Kevin Greene's decision. But, of course, there's always going to be the media speculation, the fan speculation, that he left because of Dom Capers to save Dom Capers' job. I truly don't believe that that is the case. I see Evan coming back in, so we are definitely old school Red Light Sports Ramble tonight. Evan, I was just telling everybody that you and I don't believe that this is a case of Don Capers getting rid of Kevin Greene to save his job. We truly believe that this is personal.
Yeah, and the reason why I feel that way, and I hope I don't drop out again, that was very unexpected, because I usually don't drop out when I'm on the interstate. In fact, I drove all the way up to my grandmother's for one ramble and without any problem. But anyway, looking back on it, I didn't notice the same fire out of Kevin Greene that we're all used to seeing on the sidelines. He's usually, very fiery, very passionate, and just watching him on, when they showed him on the sidelines this year, and the couple games that I was at when I was seeing him, it didn't look like he had the same fire. So I wonder if something's going on health-wise for him or with his family. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I agree. I didn't see that fire, the yelling, the jumping up and down, the high fives. I truly believe it's for family. And even in his article, he said that, when his kids go off to college, he's hoping that he can hook on with another NFL team. I'll tell you what, I hope Green Bay opens their door and says, come on back, Kevin Greene. I think that he did a very good job when he was with us. I think he's very instrumental when we won the Super Bowl. So best of luck to Kevin Greene. He's going to be sorely missed in Green Bay. I wish him the best of luck. So moving on now, we have 4 teams left, Evan. And we have the Seahawks, 49ers. We have the Broncos. We have the Patriots. And so let's stay in the NFC. And let's start off in the NFC. Seahawks, 49ers. The way that this works is the 49ers can play with the Seahawks when the game's in San Francisco. Every time the 49ers go to Seattle under the reign of Russell Wilson, they can't play worth a crap. And so now the NFC Championship game is in Seattle, 3rd game of the season. They've split the season series. 49ers are red hot. Seattle Seahawks, they are who they are. But we'll talk about what's been going on in Seattle. So I'm going to let you take it away, Bud. What are the keys to this game as you see it?
Looking at this matchup, this is the type of matchup that if I could only watch one of the games this weekend, that would be the game I'd want to watch. I'm expecting a very, very chipper football game. These teams are, physical, hit hard, so I expect a lot of post-play pushing and shoving and a few unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. So it's one of the things that's going to come down to which team keeps their head the most. Which team does the best job of keeping their head. Because they don't need a penalty costing the team the game. And looking at the matchup, I think that, Bad Axe goes to San Francisco. I think they'll be better holding it together. The other key is going to be Russell Wilson. The 49ers have a very stout defense. They probably have the best front 7 in all of football. They have Alden Smith, they have Ahmad Brooks, they have Patrick Willis, they have Bowman, they have Justin Smith. They have a very deep front 7, and they have an aggressive front 7 that makes life difficult for the opposing team's offensive line. And the guard play for the Seahawks is probably the one biggest weak link on the Seahawks offense. So Russell Wilson is going to have to be able to make plays down the field vertically, and without Percy Harvin in the game, it's going to be very hard to get things vertical. They're not going to be able to beat the 49ers dumping off, going underneath, and I think they're going to have a hard time running the football against the 49ers. So Wilson's going to have to be able to go vertical with the football, but the question is, who's he going to throw to? Now, key for the 49ers is Colin Kaepernick is going to have to take control of the game, either with his feet or with his arm. He's shown he can do it against Green Bay, but he hasn't shown he can do it against any other team in the league consistently. So Kaepernick's going to have to take control of this game with his feet and or with his arm, because that's going to open up Frank Gore, and that's how the 49ers were able to close out that victory the last time against the Seahawks when they were in San Francisco. Frank Gore had a couple huge runs late. So those are kind of my keys to victory right there. Russell Wilson or Colin Kaepernick are going to have to take control of the game. So what are some of your keys to victory, Troy?
Well, for both games, and this is one, and I put it out on Twitter this morning, you and I didn't really chat about our keys and who was going to win. We wanted to kind of make it a surprise to each other. So I didn't even tell you. I have 2 underlying stats, and I did some digging today. And so we both know that these defenses are very, very good. And I'm not a superstitious guy, and I don't put a lot of stock in these stats. But I found 2 interesting stats for both games this weekend. And I'm going to share this with you right off the bat and then get into my keys. The underlying stat that I found for this game, and I got it from NFL.com, and I'll give credit where credit is due, in an article by Chris Wesseling, 3 previous defenses have been number 1 in interceptions and passing yards allowed, which the Seahawks are this year. All 3 of those teams reached the Super Bowl. The 63 Bears, the 02 Buccaneers, and the 82 Dolphins. The 63 Bears, the 02 Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. The 82 Dolphins lost. But that's the stat that I'm talking about. This defense is first in interceptions and in passing yards allowed. So we know they're going to shut down the pass. And so I'm going to kind of piggyback off what you said. Kaepernick is going to have to find a way to make a play. That's going to be the key if they're going to win. Can he reduce his interceptions and make a play against this very good defense? Because if he doesn't do that, then I don't think the 49ers have a chance. And that's what happened in the first game. You had to put it on the arm of Kaepernick. And you had me look up the stats even when the game was in San Francisco. Kaepernick does not play well against Seattle. His stats were 15 out of 20.
Doesn't really play well against anybody except Green Bay, really.
Yeah, well, and I can kind of contradict you based on what I saw. His quarterback rating over this winning streak is actually at 100. So, but what defenses is he playing against? I understand that. It only seems like he plays good against Green Bay. You're absolutely right. The thing is Frank Gore going to be enough offensively for the 49ers to be able to beat the Seahawks in Seattle? I'm not sure. And so when I look at this game, I think the defense is going to have to maintain field position. And what I mean by that is one of them is going to have to get a turnover. Whoever gets the big turnover in this game is going to end up winning this game. But I'm like you, it's going to be chippy, and you have to be mentally tough because one error in 15 yards to change field position is going to be costly in this game. And I'm right on board with you. The thing that I look at is, the next game we're going to totally talk about quarterback play. But when I look at both these quarterbacks, Kaepernick struggles against the Seahawks, like I just said. And Wilson, ever since he beat the Saints, has struggled mightily. He has struggled to run that offense and make a big play. And now,
I think he was just 9 of 18 against the Saints last week. 9 of 18 for 103 yards, I believe.
And he didn't do anything outrageous. They handed the ball to Lynch, which you and I talked about. That was going to be the key to them winning that game. But like you said, this front seven of San Francisco is probably the best they faced all year. Is Lynch going to be enough? So if you see where I am with this game, is Gore going to be enough? Is Lynch going to be enough? Because I'm not putting my stock in either of these quarterbacks. I said I can contradict you with Kaepernick, but when I watched the game last week, he wasn't spectacular. There was times when he missed open receivers down the field, throwing it high, throwing it wide, throwing it low. Sometimes I think his legs get in the way of his accuracy, if you know what I mean by that. Because I think he gets caught in the middle. Am I going to run? Am I going to pass? Am I going to run? Am I going to pass? And he doesn't make the decision quick enough, which causes some inconsistency. So when I look at the quarterback play, I'm not sure if I'm putting my stock in either one of them. But then I've got to turn to the running game. And I look at both these defenses, and I look at San Francisco's run defense, and you're right on. That front seven is stacked. And can Lynch run through that defense? I'm not sure. And so can Gore do it against Seattle? My thing there is maybe. Because if there's going to be a weakness, Seattle's got a great pass defense. But I think there's opportunities to run. But if all they're going to do is try to run and Kaepernick can't make a play, then it's going to be a long day because they can stack the box and they can go one-on-one with their defensive backs. They got Sherman, Maxwell, Thomas, Chancellor. Because when they're playing one-on-one, they can put Chancellor up in the box. So I'm going to tell you what, bud, this is going to be, like you said, a slugfest. And so I'm excited to watch it. But, the one thing that I'm looking at here, and I think you had mentioned it in the pre-show, Russell Wilson not having Percy Harvin is a big loss for Seattle when I look at the outcome of this game. So where are you going with this game, bud?
Well, looking at this game, first, I'm going to throw this out there because I mentioned, the penalties. I'm putting the over-under as a combined for 15 penalties combined. That's why I'm putting the over-under.
Holy cow.
So we'll see if they can combine for that. Because I see both teams, doing quite a bit after the whistle because that's what they're known for. Both teams are very chipper when it comes to that. They get, overly excited, I guess is what I would use it. Because I know the 49ers got away with a couple headbutts against Carolina that the refs must not have seen. And we all know what Hardball can do on the sidelines and got penalized for his actions last week.
Well, and
putting the over-under at 50.
And the league, the league has reviewed that film and they've had their meeting with the officials. I think they're going to go and they're going to tell the officials that you need to call it quick and you need to call it fast. Otherwise, this game could get out of hand as far as that chippy stuff after the play. So how many of those 15 do you think are going to be personal foul penalties? Do you have a guess on that?
That I don't have, but I would say probably about half.
Wow, that's a lot.
Half of the 15 would be the 15-yard one.
Wow, that's a lot of penalties, bud.
Yeah.
So how are you going in this one?
Well, I'm looking, San Francisco is red hot right now. They're, especially on defense, they're red hot right now. And I just think they ride the momentum. I think they finally get that monkey off their back, the Seattle 12th-man monkey. And I see San Francisco winning a tight one. Final score be 24-20. San Francisco advancing to their second straight Super Bowl.
Son of a gun. I really wanted to disagree with you. Why? I'm taking the 49ers too, and it goes back to what I said before. For those people listening, I'm not putting my stock in either one of the quarterbacks. And I think Kaepernick can do enough with his legs to open something up. And I think Seattle is, of the two defenses, is the one that can give up the rushing. So I think Gore's going to have the advantage. And I think it's going to come down to field position. I just think with Gore running that San Francisco is going to win this. I'm about the same place as you. I was going to call 21-17. So we're right around the same area. Close game.
Should I tell you my X factor in the game when you finish your point?
I'm done. 21-17 San Francisco. They go to their second Super Bowl.
Yeah, my X factor in this game is actually going to be Kendall Hunter and LaMichael James. Those are going to be my X factors. I think James will make a play on special teams, and I think Hunter is going to make a big play or two, being the change of pace back for goal. I think Hunter and James is going to be the big X factor that changes the field position in the 49ers' favor.
Well, and that's and the X factor, like you just said, is something I think is going to be so key in a game where you have two defenses that are so good. Field position is going to be key. So, well, moving on, bud. We got about 10 minutes. Let's move into the AFC. Denver, New England.
Manning versus Brady.
Everybody's talking Manning versus Brady. I mean...
Oh, there are two teams playing?
Apparently.
It was a boxing match.
I thought we were previewing Manning versus Brady. I mean, that's what I
thought it was a boxing match to see who represents the AFC.
Yeah, they might as well put it in the UFC ring. Just let the two go punch it out. There are two teams playing, actually, Evan. And they're playing in Denver. So there's 10 other players on each side that are going to be playing this game. And then there's going to be, on defense, another 10 and another... And so there's going to be other players playing on this field. But it's so much, and I'm actually kind of sick of it. Because I'm not sure if it's going to come down to Manning versus Brady. I know they're the quarterbacks, but there's other things in this game that I see. I'm going to let you go first. But I've got other keys to this game that are going to be the reason they win other than Manning and Brady. But I'll let you take it away, bud.
Well, one corner you have Tom Brady, the other corner you have Peyton Manning backing up Tom Brady, helping out Manning in this corner. You have Les Welker. Oh, wait, we already talked about winning a boxing match. Oops, let's rewind.
Yeah, rewind it, bud.
Anyways, humor aside, looking at the matchup, the Patriots found a running game with LeGarrette Blount last week. The Denver Broncos found a defense last week against the Chargers, as it seemed like the Broncos are playing with 15 or 20 guys on the field at one time because there is nowhere for Rivers to go with that football. But the one issue that the Broncos have is their safety. Is it Chris Harris?
Yep.
Their safety that's got hurt. Chris Harris tore his ACL in last week's game, and Troy, you're going to throw the stat out there. When Chris Harris is not on the field, the defense for the Broncos isn't as good. So I think that could be key to the game. So one key right there is the safety play of the Broncos. Are they going to step up and fill that void? The Patriots continuing to use that running game is going to be the other key, because if the Patriots can keep the chain moving on the ground, it's going to keep Peyton Manning off the field. And it's going to keep Peyton Manning from finding that rhythm, because let's face it, the Patriots are not going to beat the Broncos going vertical, because they don't have the weapons on the outside to beat anybody vertical. They have Amendola and they have Edelman, who are slot guys. So they could beat you in the slot, but they can't beat you anywhere else. And they don't have a tight end now either. So the key is going to be the running game of the Patriots. And for the Broncos, the Broncos is going to be the safety play of the Broncos, if protecting that middle of the field. Because if that middle of the field is not protected, those slot guys could find holes in the zone coverage. And then if you look at the Broncos offensively, it's going to be Peyton Manning protecting that football. We've all seen the stats in the postseason. Peyton Manning tends to throw turnovers. He becomes interception machine in the playoffs, especially for whatever reason when the Patriots are on the other side of the field. Belichick, for some reason, seems to have his number. So Manning protecting the football, the safety play of the Broncos, and the running game of the Patriots, where it's going to be what's key.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. You talk about the running game. So I said I had an underlying stat. And as I'm researching, and again, like I did in the first game, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I found a nice article by Eric Wilbur of Boston.com. It was in an article, Patriots-Broncos AFC Championship Prediction Roundup. There's an underlying stat in here, and it's not the Manning versus Brady that everybody's talking about. It's the Brady versus Jack Del Rio defense. And Tom Brady is 7-0 against Jack Del Rio's defense. Now, and even in his article, he says, before you say, well, he was with Jacksonville. 2 of those games, Evan, were when Jacksonville was in the playoffs. And then 2 of those games.
Playoffs?
Yeah, they did, back in 05 and 07.
Oh, eons ago. It seems like it was eons ago.
It was, but again, he's still 7-0. And his passer ratings were huge. And also 2 games against Denver. So there's really only 3 games in there when they were not so good. But my point is that Brady has success against Jack Del Rio's defense. But I don't think, and again, I'm going away from this, I don't think it's going to come down to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And you know what? When I give my prediction, the team that I'm picking to lose, their fans are probably going to want to tase me today, Evan. And you'll find out when I talk about my prediction. The biggest thing in this game is I don't care about Omaha anymore. Because the way the Patriots are controlling
crap, I just jumped outside when he said Omaha.
I know you did. I hope you didn't crash. I hope I didn't make you crash. The thing is, he's not going to get a chance to play Omaha. Because the way the Patriots' offensive line is playing right now, Evan, and I know people have argued with me when I put it out there that I can't remember when we've seen a running game like this. People are saying they've been doing it all year. They've been doing it all year. I'm not talking about the yardage. I'm not talking about the number of total yards. I'm talking about the way the offensive line gets upfield and makes a push. They are 2 yards downfield when they're blocking and they're making holes. That's the dominant run game I'm talking about. Everybody's talking about LeGarrette Blount. They also have a guy named Ridley that has actually more rushing yards on the year than Blount. It may only be 2, but he does. Belichick will ride the hot hand when he has to. I don't care if it's Ridley in this game. I don't care if it's Blunt. That offensive line is dominant right now. And when you look at a Broncos defense that is without Chris Harris, without Von Miller, without Derek Wolfe, and without Kevin Vickerson, I see the Patriots dominating the time of possession in this game. And it's going to limit Peyton Manning. He's going to have to score every time he gets the ball. And I think the X factor in this game, and I saw this kid play last week, and I said, who is this kid? I heard of him, but I never really watched much of him. And it's Jamie Collins, the linebacker from New England. That guy is a beast. And the thing about him is, I think he can match up one-on-one with Julius Thomas. And where is Peyton Manning's security blanket, Evan? Julius Thomas. And Collins, I think, can negate Thomas at tight end. So I think the Patriots match up really well in this game. And when I look at it, the past 2 seasons, the Broncos have lost 7 times. And they've given up 148 yards rushing in each, our average, in those games. I think the Patriots rush for over 148 yards. That offensive line is not to be denied right now. I don't even think Tom Brady passes for 200 again. I think they dominate on the ground. So I think you kind of know where I'm going in this game, but I'm going to turn it back over to you with just under 4 minutes to go. How you going in this game, bud? What's your prediction?
Well, looking at the game for me, I don't think Talib is healthy, and him not being healthy, he hasn't been that good. And I just look at the Broncos' weapons. You have Moreno, who's playing really well. You have former Badger Monte Ball, who's been really well in pass blocking. You have Thomas. You have Welker, you have Decker, you have, I think, the other receiver, I think it's Thomas as well. I just think the Broncos have too much weapons for the Patriots defense, especially missing Brandon Spikes. I think they have too many weapons for the Patriots to slow down the Broncos offense. So I see a high-scoring game. Now the question would be, can the Broncos finish? Because they should have won that first game, and they didn't because they didn't finish the game. And I think they finished this time. I think Peyton Manning is playing very inspired football right now, and I think he finishes the game, and I think the Broncos win 35-28.
Yes, we disagree on one of the games. And so here's my bold prediction. I know yesterday we were joking around. You had heard on the radio station you work for about tasing people. I'm going to imagine that if somebody from Denver listens to this ramble, that there's going to be a bunch of people in my front yard getting ready to tase me, Evan. Because with everything that I've seen and everything that I've been looking at, everybody, all the predictions are like yourself, a one-score game, game.
Seconds.
Well, here's my bold prediction. 34-21 Patriots. The fourth quarter, the last drive, there's not going to be a last drive. I think New England dominates the second half with the running game. I think the Broncos turn it over, and I think they go down, they have a long drive. They put the game on ice, and it's 34-21 New England going to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's 6th in his career. And
60 seconds.
And that'll be a different discussion for us at a different ramble about how many Super Bowls he's been to. But with that said, Bud, just under a minute to go. You want to wrap it up?
Just make sure you listen tomorrow for the Red Light Sports Rant. I'm going to be talking baseball a little bit, and give it a listen and call in if you have your opinion, because we're talking PED use in baseball. And it's a hot topic, so give it a listen. Yeah,
big hot topic tomorrow. Remember, Saturday's episode all about ranting. Evan and Troy ranting tomorrow about PED use in Major League Baseball. With that said, everyone, enjoy the night. We'll see you at the next red light.